Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Locker Room Talk. I am your host, Alyssa Mejia. Locker Room Talk. This podcast is a spin on the name, which is often referred to what boys do in the locker room. Well, I am not one of the guys. I am a woman, and I will have a space in this said locker room to speak. How I envision this podcast is it's a space to talk about sports culture, sports drama, sports stories. It's something I talk about on a daily basis, so I thought, why not bring it to media form? Now, I don't play sports anymore. Ever since hanging up my spikes and basketball shoes, I ventured into sports in other ways. I went to the University of Oregon, where I was a student manager, and I just love working with women's basketball. The girls were great. I worked with amazing athletes, met a lot of amazing coaches, and just had great experiences. They were my family for 2 years. I love Oregon. I decided to transfer, though, to sunny California, back to my home, and I am now a USC Trojan, so fight on. Since being here, I decided to take on the position of being a football intern, which has been an experience within itself and a lot of fun. I love meeting people and making sure that they love, the University of Southern California, because what's not to love is the place to be. Now, as for more background, sports has been a part of my family. I come from a sports family. My parents played a variety of sports, and that was a big reason why myself and my siblings have ventured into sports. Big shout out to my parents. Thank you so much for instilling the love of sports in me. And big shout out to my little sister, Ashley. She's about to go to ASU to play softball. We are so proud of you and so excited. You're going to do big things. Also, a big shout out to my cousin, Kyla. She plays soccer at Jackson State University. Go Tigers. We're always rooting for you, Kyla. So that's a little bit on my background. As you see, sports is in my life every day, so I can't help but to talk about it. And this is a place for me to go ahead and talk with you all. This series I'm really excited for. I've planned a lot of different episodes. I'm planning on bringing on a lot of people to sit and talk with me about their experiences in the sports industry. So the possibilities are endless, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come. This first episode, however, it is just going to be me, but I promise you it's not going to be a boring one. So, here's some sports news for you. The Las Vegas Aces, two-time WNBA champs. There's a lot to unpack here. The first thing I want to talk about is their jerseys. I actually love the look for the past couple seasons, but they just unveiled some new threads, and why do they look like the Raiders? Mark Davis, who is the owner of the Raiders, is now the owner of the Aces, so I believe he just wanted his teams to be in unison. Asia Wilson even tweeted, Mark said both of his teams will be silver and black. Indeed, they have to be. It literally looks like they took a Raiders jersey and went ahead and slapped it on a basketball jersey. It's an interesting look. I really liked their previous jerseys, so I'm not really sure why they needed the tweak, but it's very clear that this is a brand, and, we'll see what it looks like this season. Speaking of this season, they also made history, WNBA history, as they sell out their 2024 season. That is history during Women's History Month. I love to see it in sports media because after hearing on the naysayers for all these years saying no one will pay attention to women's sports, but look at what we're doing. We're literally changing the narrative, and very soon we will be paid what we are owed. Keeping it with women's sports, I'm going to have to give attention to the women of Troy. USC women's basketball has seen some tough times over the years. Trust me, I've seen it for myself. Going to games as a kid, nobody would really show up. And then even last year, traveling to play against them when I was with Oregon, it wasn't a lot of people in the stands, unfortunately. They did struggle to get people in their seats for some times, but obviously that has changed. They've started to win. They're rebuilding an empire. This just relates back to what I'm saying about women changing the narrative. It's great to see, and it's amazing that we get to have these exciting conversations behind college women's sports, and just being giddy to just watch them and sit in the seats and just enjoy a game. I'm really happy. Every time they have a game, I'm telling you, I am sad. I am very much tuned in. I had dinner last night at the dining hall, and I saw that they had the Pac-12 network on. I was watching that game against U of A, and thankfully we won by 3. It was 65-62. It was close, but it was a good game. USC has some solid players, though. Caitlin Davis, Mackenzie Forbes, Juju Watkins, and just the list goes on. But big shout out to my girl Taylor Bigby. We were at Oregon together our freshman year, and I was rooting for her when she went ahead and made that transfer to SC. I was just so happy for her. I admire literally all of you on the women's team, and if y'all ever see my podcast and want to hop on, I'd be happy to have you. But if you haven't been following the women of Troy, what have you been doing? Mackenzie Forbes was named All Pac-12 Team. Juju Watkins was also named that, on top of Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. But they just had to give it to her. She's doing some crazy things here. And I know the press has covered Juju a lot, but it's literally crazy. And I think it's crazier because I get to witness it firsthand. Like, this is so much talent that I get to witness firsthand. She is going to be in GOAT conversations. Like, the numbers just do not lie. She's number 2 in the nation for points per game as of right now. And that's just following Caitlin Clark. And that right there, I feel like, tells me that she could possibly surpass her. Which it's not about competition because we love Caitlin Clark over here. It's just we love to see women continuing to push the limit in sports. Assuming, Juju does all 4 years, the record will be broke within the 3 years. And like I said, we just love pushing the limit. And I just love that I get to witness herstory. But yeah, to wrap it up, we are in the middle of the Pac-12 tournament, sadly the last one of the Pac-12 history. We are in the middle of it, and there's only 4 more teams left, that being Stanford, Oregon State, UCLA, and USC. The women of Troy take on the Bruins tonight, and I am filming this episode literally right before the game. I'm going to make some predictions. It's maybe not a prediction. It's probably just what I want to see. And I want to see Oregon State in that final for some reason. Now, I'm not supposed to root for them because once a duck, always a duck. But Oregon State has seen a change since the last time I've watched them. And I feel like they've become a new team. And the pieces are just there to compete. So that would be a good underdog team. And they are the underdog as they are the 4th in the Pac-12 as of right now. And for the obvious, I choose USC making it to that championship as well. The women of Troy team is just different. They play with so much passion, and I just know they will handle the Bruins tonight and get that big dub. I will be watching and rooting for them. Bye, Dawn. Well, that was my first episode of Locker Room Talk. I'm glad I could talk some women's hoops with all of you. And if you have thoughts, my comment section is open. It is Women's History Month. Just to remind you all, go make history and change the narrative as all these women who I've just talked about have done. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I am Alyssa Mejia, and this has been Locker Room Talk.
Yo, move out the way. We got Missy Elliott coming through.